Welcome to this knowledge clip about making Canvas accessible. You may be thinking, why should Canvas be accessible? Well, for students with disabilities, it is difficult to constantly have to ask for the accommodations they need to follow their studies. Accommodations they have the right to receive. How great would it be if every Canvas course is automatically catered to include every student? That way, these students don't need to ask for extra help and teachers don't have to change anything during the course. It's a win-win. Follow these tips to make it possible. So what will we discuss? In this knowledge clip, we will give 9 tips on how to make Canvas accessible, give examples of implementation, and tell you where to get help. Let's get into the 9 tips. It is important to use the functions that Canvas already has available. So tip number 1 is to use the screen reader available in Canvas. Screen readers are an important tool to assist individuals with visual impairments or blindness in accessing and navigating digital content. The screen reader in Canvas is called the immersive reader, and you can find this in the top right corner of your Canvas pages. However, this function is only available in Pages and in the syllabus. It cannot be used in the assignments, in discussions, quizzes, or announcements. Therefore, people with visual impairments or blindness will need to use other tools as well. We recommend that you use the immersive reader function in Canvas to experience this yourself. The second function in Canvas is the accessibility checker. Did you know that Canvas already includes a tool that checks for you if your Canvas course is accessible or not? On every Canvas editing page at the bottom, there is an accessibility checker icon, like here. And this is only visible for you when you are in edit mode. Underneath the text box, there is a row of buttons with functions you can use, including the accessibility checker. After you click this accessibility icon, a bar will open on the right-hand side where it will report all accessibility issues and what actions you need to take to solve them. Most issues can be fixed directly with the accessibility checker. Just follow their steps to fix the issue. Those were the functions already available in Canvas. However, that is not enough to make a Canvas page accessible. That's why we will now focus on the things you as a teacher can do yourself in Canvas to make it accessible for every student. The following tips will focus on how to make your Canvas page as readable as possible. So tip number 3 is to use headings. A heading is a short phrase describing what the succeeding section is all about. Headings help structure your text so it's easier to read and find important information quicker. This is useful for every student, but for students who rely on a screen reader, it is important to use the actual headings function to create headings. If you just make your text bold or a bigger font size, the screen readers will not pick up on this. The person using the screen reader will also not be able to skip sections. This makes the Canvas page very impractical. For people who are not familiar with the headings function, you can find it in the upper row of the text box under paragraphs, as you can see here. Now we will look at an example of how a screen reader would go over headings made the proper way versus when text is just made bold or bigger font size. So as you can see, the inaccessible headings, the person with the screen reader has to go through every single text on the page, and it cannot skip the headings to the next heading. And as you see here in the accessible headings part, this is the accessible headings, this is heading 1, and then the person can go to the next heading, which is course information, and then there's the course information, but then they can go to the next heading, instructor information, and then they can skip to the next heading. So that makes it easier for the students. So tip number 4 is to use a less crowded looking font and a bigger font size. Students with dyslexia often have difficulty reading, especially if the text appears crowded or small. To make reading more accessible for this group, you can change the font size, the font to Arial, that is Canvas's standard font, Verdana, Helvetica, Courier, Comic Sans, or Calibri, as they appear less crowded. Or you can use a bigger font size 14. Avoid underlining and italics because it can appear crowded, and also avoid using all capital letters and uppercase letters. This is an example of how students with dyslexia can see text using a smaller font size or crowded looking fonts. Tip number 5 is to describe images with alt text. Not all students can see images. That's why it's important to add text to the image that explains what is visible on it. The added text is called alt text or alternative text, and it can be read by a screen reader, so students who are blind or have visual impairments can understand what is visible on the image. Adding alternative text to an image also helps when the image doesn't load properly, and this can happen when the image is broken or when a student has improper internet connection. The alt text will be shown instead, so the student still has a grasp of what is supposed to be viewed on the image. Tip number 6 is to use hyperlinks. Hyperlinks connects a part of the text, a hypertext, to another location, such as a website or a file. It is important to embed the link within a concise string of text instead of using just the URL in the text. Also avoid adding links to descriptions such as "click here." Otherwise, students who use screen readers have no idea what's behind the link. Using descriptive links helps students navigate your Canvas course better, not only students who use screen readers. Tip number 7, use tables. Using tables in Canvas makes data and information accessible to people who use screen readers. Tables display pieces of information that have some sort of relationship or pattern. For example, a list of dates, times, rooms that all classes of the course will be. By adding a table for this sort of information, you make your Canvas course look clean and organized. Now we are going to look at an example.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner menu. Table 6 columns, 4 rows. You are currently on a table inside of the article. To navigate the cells within this table, press Mon, column 2. Row 2 breakfast. Cereal. Row 3 lunch. Pasta. 2s. Sandwich, column 3. You are currently on a text row 4 dinner. Chili. You are currently on a text element in heading level 2 inaccessible table. Table 6 columns, 4 rows. Blank, column 1. Mon, column 2. You are row 2, cereal. Breakfast, column 1. Cereal, column 2. Pancakes, column 3. Row 3, sandwich.
So as you can see, in the accessible table, the information shows the link between the rows and the columns of the table. So for example, Monday, for breakfast, there will be cereal, and so on. But in the inaccessible table, it just simply reads what is written in each cell. The reason for this is that there are no headers in that table, and therefore it does not show the relationship or the pattern between the days and what type of menu item that will be served. Now we will focus on tips that make audio-visual material understandable. Tip number 8, captions, also known as subtitles, are textual representation of auditory content that are synchronized with audio or video media. This allows individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing to understand the content. If there are no captions available, this group can't follow along. Also, for people of hearing, the availability of captions is a great option. Some students learn better when they hear what is being said, while others learn better when they read it. Having the option makes your course more inclusive and gives the students the possibility to choose what works best for them. In the Cultura is the video platform used by the FU, and the default setting in Cultura is that automatically generated captions are not available. So you will have to turn the option on yourself. You can only do this when you have the rights to the video, so when you have the possibility to edit the video. And to do this, you go to the video that you want to add the captions to, and underneath the video choose Actions and then Captions and Enrich. Follow the steps and submit your request, and the captions will be added to your video. This does take a while to generate, but you don't need to wait. The captions will be added to the video when they are done. You can add another request if you want to add several languages to your video. In Panopto, the new video platform of the FU, the captions will be automatically generated. Tip number 9. When you are using colors in your Canvas course, make sure you are using a colorblind-friendly palette. When you use colors, for example, to highlight text or to change the font color, make sure you use colors that have a high contrast. This image shows you which colors of the standard Canvas course palette are the best to use. The checkmark icon indicates colorblind-friendly colors, and the L icon indicates that these colors are only accessible when using a larger font size, so larger than 24 pixels or at least header 2. The other colors are not colorblind friendly. As you can see in this picture, people who are colorblind see the red apple as green and then the bright green apple as yellow. By using a colorblind friendly palette, we can avoid this. If you want more information on any of these tips, you can check out our website. And if you need individual help with making your Canvas course accessible, you can send an email to onderwijswerkplaats@vu.nl. Or if you have any questions accessibility related at the VU, you can send an email to functiebeperking.soz@vu.nl. Thank you for listening.